Yeah, good day, my dear students. Again, I am with you to deal with one more lesson, that is lesson number 4, Or Manushan. In my previous class, I have already told you whenever you study what all you have to look after, and considering what you have to study the lesson. If your parents read a story, it is for other purpose. They read it and they may forget it, but with you it is not so. You have to read and remember and reproduce whenever necessary to score good marks in the examination. So keep this in mind, and whenever you read the text, be careful with value points. Again, according to my previous class, what I had done in my previous class, in the same way I have made a chart of my own, which makes me to remember what to teach, how to teach, and what all points to teach during my class. And I have made these points from this lesson. And generally I would used to ask to write these points. I would used to ask my students to write this in the class after the lesson, but here this is one way teaching, so because of this I have to write this, and I write this and start teaching, because I am going to complete this lesson in a short period because of this. And if we make these points, everything will be clear for you. Or Manushan is written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, a very good story writer, a Malayali story writer. Even this is the translation from Malayali to English. In our previous class also we read a story which was a translation from Kannada to English, and this is from Malayali to English. Vaikom Muhammad Bashir has written many stories of this kind, and he got many awards for his writing. He has written many short stories and novels, and for this he is very famous for. And one thing we can see in his writings is that is real life experience. What he experienced in his life. These stories are based on real life experiences. So in this regard, we are going to read him in this story. He is a narrator of this story again, and as it was in our earlier class, Or Manushan is written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, and the narrator is the same. So no need to get confused. So as he goes on writing, he explains what happens to this world when we are in a very different place, where we have gone to a far off place where we don't have anyone of our own, no friends, no relatives, no one with us, and we are totally a stranger in such a place, and how we feel there in that place. And that too when the people there are very cruel people, those who are murderers, robbers, yeah, and they are ready to murder for even a small amount of money. And he feels that world is more evil than good. So he says world is more evil than good, he says, because of this, because he has gone to such a place where there are no people for his help. Always he is finding hungry wolves around him, and he is in the midst of all these dangerous people. And this fellow is a writer, a very sober fellow and very kind hearted, and he doesn't want any risk in his life. He wants to have a peaceful place and keep writing his stories and novels. And in this story, as we go on reading, our narrator, that is Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, goes to a big city. He goes to a big city. See, it is given in the text, while you are asked in 1 mark questions, if you are asked how far was this big city from his place, he had come from his place some 1500 miles. Keep this in mind. He had come some 1000 miles, 1500 miles away. ಅಂದರೆ ವೈಕೋಮ್ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಬಶೀರ್ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಊರನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ತಮ್ಮ ನೇಟಿವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು 1000 ಅಬೌಟ್ ಅಂತ ಸುಮಾರು, ಅಂದರೆ ಸುಮಾರು 1500 ಮೈಲ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಊರು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವೇರ್ people had no mercy. See, I have made a square of it, mercy. ಅದು ಮುಂದೆ I will refer this to some other thing, then you will come to know why I have squared this mercy. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋಂಥ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಮರ್ಸಿ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. They had no mercy at all because they were so cruel, murderers, pickpocketers, and earlier they were soldiers, and after losing their job they had been security guards, watchmen to big shops, malls, banks and other business organizations. So they went on getting some or the other job for their livelihood, and even some of them went to other place and started lending money lending business. They went on doing it, and they were so fond of money. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀತಿ, ಅವರು ಯಾರನ್ನಾದರೂ ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಡಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ಊರಿಗೆ ಇವನು ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವರ್ ನರೇಟರ್. ಸೊ ನರೇಟರ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಟು ಸಚ್ ಅ ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ ವೇರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ರೂಯಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, those who have no mercy, and cruel murderers, pickpocketers and soldiers. ಅವರು pickpocketers, and earlier they were soldiers. Their profession was they were soldiers, they were in the army, but after losing their jobs they started doing all these odd businesses. ಅವರು ಕ್ರೂಯಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಮರ್ಡರ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಈ ಹುಟ್ಟು ಸಾವನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡುಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಭಾಳ ಕ್ರೂಯಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಹೊಡೆದಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದೇ ವೇರ್ ಸೋಲ್ಜರ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಲೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಜಾಬ್, ಅವ್ರ ಜಾಬ್ ಕಳೆದು ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮರ್ಡರರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಪಿಕ್ ಪಾಕೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಭಾಳ ಕ್ರೂಯಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ವಾಚ್ಮನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಬೇರೆ ಆಫೀಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಇವನು, ನಮ್ಮ ನರೇಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಹೇಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೀ ಗಾಟ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ರೂಮ್. ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ರೂಮ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್? ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ರೂಮ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಡರ್ಟಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್. ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ರೂಮ್, ಅ ಡರ್ಟಿ ರೂಮ್, ಡಿಂಗಿ ರೂಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿಚ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೆಲ್ ಟು ಡೂ. It was not, room was not well furnished, or is very simple room, and there was no proper ventilation for it. And in such a small room he started his living, and it was a dirty street too, because he had no money and he had to survive in such a condition in a big city, and without money he had to get such a room, dirty room and a dirty street. So small room and a dirty street. So what profession he started there? Because for his survival he needs some job. So what was he in need of? He started, instead of want, he started teaching English to migrant laborers there. What kind of business, what kind of profession he started? Our narrator, the people were murderers, cruel, very cruel people. They were watchmen and security guards, and they were murderers, pickpocketers, many more things. But narrator started his profession as a teacher. He started teaching English to migrant laborers. So narrator started teaching English to migrant laborers, and that too, see, you have to be very careful while answering. What did the narrator taught? What did the narrator teach? Narrator taught these migrant laborers English. And in English, what did he teach? writing address in English, especially. So you have to be very careful what is asked and what is to be written. ಅವನು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಮೈಗ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಲೇಬರರ್ಸಿಗೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಏನು ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಟೀಚ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. So this is more important. He started teaching them writing address in English, because in that place writing address in English was a great thing. So writing address in English, see, ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲ್ತವ್ರು ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವೇ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಲೆಟರ್ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಜನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಹೌ ಇಲ್ಲಿಟ್ರೇಟ್ ದೀಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವೇರ್, ದೇ ವೇರ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಹೌ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್, because those days it was very difficult to write. A person who used to sit in a post office and earn in annas writing address in English for other people, not for his own letter, writing address for others and get money from them in annas, yeah, rupees alla. Very good old story. So very back, we go to very back of the history, and there this narrator started teaching them English to the migrant laborers. To whom he taught English? Migrant laborers. And what did he teach in English? Writing address in English. So he started teaching them writing address in English, and he started earning some money. He started earning some money in annas, not in rupees. And as he went on earning, by this time he had 14 rupees with him when this story is going on. So he had 14 rupees with him, and this fellow used to get up every day at 4 p.m. What was the timing of his teaching every day? That is not written here, but from evening 9:30, night 9:30 to 11, he used to teach English to these migrant laborers. 9:30 to 11 p.m. evening, because these people were migrant laborers, and they had no time. Daytime they used to go for work, and evening they used to learn from this fellow how to write address in English. They were laborers in other areas, as you all know, I explained ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಈಗ. ಸೊ ಅವನು 9:30 ಇಂದ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ 11 o'clock ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ 14 ರೂಪೀಸನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವನು ವ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ ಪರ್ಸ್, ಅವನದು ಜೇಬು ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ವ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಇತ್ತು? ಒಂದು 14 rupees ಇತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಹಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಟ್ 4 p.m. in the evening, early evening. 4 p.m. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಇವನು? ವಾಸ್ ಹಿ ಲೇಜಿ? ನೋ, he was not lazy, but he used to get up at 4 p.m. See his level of living, how strict and punctual he was in doing this. See, he used to get up at 4 p.m. in the evening, early evening, to save his money from drinking early morning tea and a breakfast and lunch. ಒಂದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಉಳಿತು, ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟೀ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಉಳಿತು ಅವನಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ? ಅವನು ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ at 4 p.m. in the late afternoon, early evening. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಅವನು ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗಿ, he used to get fresh up, and he used to have his daily course after getting up, and get ready to go out by 4:30 or nearly 5. He used to get up at 4, and by nearly, you can imagine, that is not given in the text, but you can imagine that he used to get up at 4 and daily course, finishing all his daily course, he used to step down from his room to the ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದ. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬೇಕು, ಊಟ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅವನು he used to get down to the restaurant. He used to go to the restaurant by nearly 5 o'clock. And olden stories, most of our olden movies or old stories are with suits. He used to wear his suit. So here also in this story, our narrator wears his suit, trouser and shoes, and he puts his wallet in his coat pocket nalli wallet itkoltane, which contained one more question. Wallet ಎಷ್ಟು rupees ಇತ್ತು wallet ಅಲ್ಲಿ? 14 rupees. He had 14 rupees in his suit pocket. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವನು ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ವೈ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಹಾಫ್? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. ಹೀಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈಗ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಡೀತಿದೆ ಅದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ because of that I have taken it in the second part here. What happens in the restaurant? So illi about the people, and he is feeling about the world is more evil than good. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಹೇಗೆ ಅವನದು ಡೇ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಬಂತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಜರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ, ಮೇನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅದು ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಇನ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್? In the restaurant, when this fellow, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು he keeps 14 rupees in his coat pocket, 14 in his wallet. He had 14 rupees in his wallet and goes to the restaurant. He goes there and orders for full meals. Full meals. What is full meal? It's common meal. What is it? Meat curry, chapatis and a tea. So because this fellow had no breakfast, no lunch and no tea, early morning tea, he is going to have now his dinner, lunch, breakfast and a tea. ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಒಂದೇ ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇವನ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ sometimes it is very good for health, because he is physically not working hard, and this much would be very sufficient for him for a day, because he is having full meals of meat curry, chapatis. How many chapatis he ate, God alone knows. Yeah, because he is eating only one time. So he had meat curry, chapatis and tea, and the bill goes to 11 annas. The bill is 11 annas. So one more question again. What was the bill? ಅವನು ಮೀಟ್ ಕರಿ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಮೀಟ್ ಕರಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಮೀಟ್ ಕರಿ, ಚಪಾತೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೀ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಬಿಲ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಟು 11 ಆನಾಸ್. 11 ಆಣೆ ಆಯಿತು ದ ಬಿಲ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೀ puts his hand in his coat pocket and search for his wallet. Wallet was missing, because ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಪಿಕ್ ಪಾಕೆಟರ್ಸ್. ಅವನದು ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಪಿಕ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. somebody has picked his pocket. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ wallet was missing. He was afraid. He started shivering. ಸ್ವೆಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಒರೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವನು ತಿಂದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕರಿಗಿ ಹೋಯಿತು. ವಾಟ್ he had eaten was digested, knowing that his pocket was missing. So he was so much afraid, because he had lives saving in that wallet. Lives saving we keep in banks, we keep money, we deposit money, we keep fixed deposits in the bank. But this fellow had lives saving in his wallet. How much? 14 rupees in his wallet, and that was missing. Where he had to go? Imagine, 14 rupees is nothing for you now, but those days, imagine the bill. After eating this much, the bill is only 11 annas. You will come to know the value of 11 annas and 14 rupees now. 14 rupees is too much. It was a heavy amount for him or many people living there. So that was missing. He started shivering and he started trembling, and what he ate got digested because of this shock. And he goes to the owner of the hotel and tells him that my pocket is missing, my wallet is missing. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ This fellow got very wild, because you know already what kind of people lived there in that big city. They were very cruel, very strict, and very stone-hearted people living there. They were very cruel, and this fellow, owner of the hotel, said, I will take your eyes out. You pay 11 annas and get out from this place. You pay 11 annas and get out, or else I will take your eyes out, he said. Eyes out. So he said, your eyes will be taken out, you pay your bill. Holding his lapel, he was holding his lapel. You know, this is a collar, and a lapel is which is with a coat. Coat will have lapels. The collar is extended to this part, and that is called as lapel. And this is collar. This is collar, and which is extended to the coat, that is lapel. So he took hold of the lapel. The owner took hold of this narrator's lapel and told him, I will take your eyes out, please pay the bill. In a very shrewd voice, gruff voice, he said. And all the people around who were sitting there, nearly 50 people were sitting around, they started looking at the narrator, because they got a chance to have a fun here. Because how the narrator is going to be stripped now. He is going to be stripped. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಅಸಹ್ಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ಸಲ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವನನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಓನರ್ ಈಗ ಪನಿಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫೆಲೋ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಐಸ್ ಔಟ್. ನಿನ್ನ ಐಸನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಂತ. ಆವಾಗ ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಸಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಮೈ ಕೋಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಮನಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ಅ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮನಿ, ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಓನರ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ನಾನು ಕೋಟ್ ಇಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ, ನಂತರ ಬಂದು ನಿನಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಓನರ್ ಕೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನೋ ಅಂತಾನೆ. ಹಿ ಸೆಡ್ ನೋ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ದ ಕೋಟ್. ಹಿ ರಿಮೂವ್ಡ್ ದ ಕೋಟ್ ಆಫ್. Narrator removed the coat off. After that he asked him to remove the shirt. ಶರ್ಟನ್ನು ಬಿಚ್ಚಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಾನೆ. ನಂತರ ಶೂಸ್ ತೆಗಿ ಅಂತಾನೆ, ಅವನು ತೆಗಿತಾನೆ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ದ ಫನ್ ದೇರ್. ಹಿ ಒನ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ನರೇಟರ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಹೀಸ್ ಟ್ರೌಸರ್. ಇವನ್ ಟ್ರೌಸರ್ ಕೂಡ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಡು, ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಕೂಡ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕ್ರೌಡೆಡ್ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್. What might be the dignity of this fellow? He is a teacher there. Imagine. So he is a teacher for many students, they are migrant laborers, and opening his trouser there, pant annu kaledu hakibidodu antandre hege? It is very difficult for him to manage this. And he was about to, he said, see, there is nothing beneath. ಪ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಗೆ ತೆಗಿಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನೋ, ದೇರ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡರ್ನೆತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ಇಟ್. ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ರೌಂಡ್, ದೇ ಟು ಸೆಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಬೆನಿತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಓಪನ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫನ್ ಓವರ್ ದೇರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ನರೇಟರ್ ಡಸ್, he slowly, because he came to know, he praised God, God alone has to save him now, and there is no one for his help, because that is a strange city, big city, where he has gone about 1500 miles. Keep this in mind, 1500 miles, it is not kilometers. Many of you students write kilometers while writing the answer. Keep this in mind, you have to write some 1500 miles, and here it is 14 rupees, and some students write 1400, because it is out of your expectation, because how can a person keep 14 rupees? You add some hundreds for it, you write 1400, it might be wrong. So you have to be very careful. Your answer has to be 14 rupees in his wallet and some 1500 miles away. Imagine who has to come to his help now. He has to remove his pant, trouser. He was slowly opening the buttons, slowly. Those days they had buttons, we have hooks now, we have a belt, God's sake. Yeah, see, he was opening his pant slowly, he was opening the buttons one by one. Same time, what happened? One fellow from the corner of the restaurant stood up and said, stop it, stop it, Nilsri, I will pay the bill, I will pay the bill, he said. Avanu yaru? Who is that stranger? A stranger stood from that place and he said, I will pay the bill, stop punishing this fellow. He said, stop, I will pay the bill. He came to the counter, to that owner, he asked. ಕೌಂಟರಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ, ಓನರ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಲು? 11 ಆನಾಸ್. he immediately paid it. ಅವನು ಯಾರು? ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್. ಅವನು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ನೋಡಿ, ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್. he was fair complexioned. ಫೇರ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಫೇರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ನನ್ನಾಗೆ ಕರಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಫೇರ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಡ್, 6 ಫೂಟರ್. ಅವನು 6 ಫೂಟ್ ಎತ್ತರ, 6 ಫೂಟರ್ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ವೇರಿಂಗ್ ಎ ರೆಡ್ ಟರ್ಬನ್, ರೆಡ್ ಟರ್ಬನ್, ಪಟಗ, ರೆಡ್ ಪಟಗಾನೆ ಸುತ್ತಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ ತಲೆಗೆ. ಆನಂತರ 6 ಫೀಟ್ ಹೈಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅವನದು. ನಂತರ ಫೇರ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಫೇರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಬೆಳ್ಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಫೇರಾಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿಂಗ್ ಅ ವೈಟ್ ಟ್ರೌಸರ್, ರೆಡ್ ಟರ್ಬನ್, ವೈಟ್ ಟ್ರೌಸರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್. ನನ್ನ ನೋಡಬೇಡಿ, ನನಗೆ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್. ಸಿ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಯು ಮೇ find short of words while expressing some things. You get very good vocabulary here. Even English medium students, ಬರೀ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ಗಂತ ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇವನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್, ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್, ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್ ಈ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್. ಹೀಗೆ ನನ್ನ ನೋಡಬೇಡಿ, ನನಗೆ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಫೆಲೋ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್, ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್? ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್. ಸೊ he was looking very decent, tall fellow, a very good personality, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ ಇತ್ತು ಒಂದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ ನೋಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಗಾಬರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಒಂದು ರೋಮಾಂಚನ ಬರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ ಒಂದು. ಸಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್, ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಫೇರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 6 ಫೂಟರ್, ರೆಡ್ ಟರ್ಬನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೈಟ್ ಟ್ರೌಸರ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್, ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಬಾರ್ ಮುಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೋಗಿ, he goes there to the counter, pays the bill. He pays the bill. He asked, what is the bill? 11 annas. He paid that 11 anna and he asked the stranger to wear, the narrator, wear your dress and follow me. He asked him to follow him, and very happily narrator took all his shirt and a coat. He wore them, he took the shoes, he wore the shoes and he started following him. ಅವನು ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಅವನು ಬಿಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತಂದು ಹೇಳಿ, ಬಾ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಹಿ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ ಹಿಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನರೇಟರ್ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಹಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್, ಟಾಲ್ ಫೆಲೋ, ಹಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್, ನರೇಟರ್ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ದೇ ಗೋ ಟು ಸಚ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಅ ಡೆಸರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್. ಡೆಸರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿಲ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದಿಸ್ ಫೆಲೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಗೋಸ್, ನರೇಟರ್ ಫಾಲೋಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಗೋಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್. ದಿಸ್ ನರೇಟರ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಆ್ಯಟ್ ದಿ ಡೆಸರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್. ಡೆಸರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೂ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥ ಡೆಸರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್, ವೇರ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಪಾಸರ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾರೂ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡುತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂಥ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿಲ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು. ಸೊ ಈ ಗೋಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ದೇರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ he asked his name, narrator's name. Stranger asked, what is your name? Narrator gave all his name and from where he came, all the details he gave. And narrator asked, what is your name? I don't have name. See, the stranger said that he had no name. ಏನಾದರೂ ಇರಬೇಕು ಹೆಸರು, ಆದರೆ he didn't like to show his identity. You will come to know why later. He said, I don't have name. Then the narrator thinks that this fellow might be Mercy. His name might be Mercy. Mercy ne, neenu Mercy pa, because he showed mercy to this fellow narrator. Because of that he called him, you might be mercy, he mercy, and look at this mercy. Because of this I have put a square to these two mercies. People had no mercy, but amongst those people who had no mercy, one fellow, the narrator, got that stranger who had mercy. Because of that he named him mercy. Oh, you might be mercy, he told. ಅವನೇನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನೀನೇನಪ್ಪ ಕರುಣೆ ಇರೋವನು, ಮರ್ಸಿ, ಕರುಣೆ ಇರೋಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ನೀನೇ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ ನರೇಟರ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ he was saved from danger. He was in danger, he was saved from danger. So you might be mercy, ನೀನೇ mercy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Then the stranger shows, he removes from here and here ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದನೂ ವ್ಯಾಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ತೆಗಿತಾನೆ. He removes wallets, some about 5 wallets is given there. 5 wallets, 5 not 10, 5 wallets. He removes 5 wallets and keep them in front of the narrator. Find the one is yours. The narrator took his wallet. The 5th one was narrator's. He took that wallet, checked the money. He had 14 rupees intact ಎಲ್ಲ ಭದ್ರವಾಗಿ 14 ರೂಪಾಯಿನೂ ಇತ್ತು ಅವನ ಕಡೆ. ಸೊ he was so much thankful to the stranger. He said thanks and he took that and he kept in his coat pocket. He took his wallet and kept in his coat pocket and he was about to leave, but the stranger warned him, don't tell about me to anybody. If any people ask about me, tell them that you have not seen me. Do not take my reference anywhere. Do not talk about me anywhere. ಹೀಗಂತ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ನಿಮಗೀಗ? ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕೇಮ್ ಟು ನೋ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್? He had 5 wallets. Why he had 5 wallets? That the stranger is bound to be a pickpocketer. He is a pickpocket. So he had taken his pocket, he had picked the narrator's pocket and he helped him. He had shown mercy to the narrator. So he says, if anybody asks about me, don't give my reference, don't tell my name, don't tell about me to anybody. So keep silent. Think that you didn't meet me at all. Do not take my reference at all. He said, and he said, may God help you, and went away from that place. And even the narrator says, may God help you. In this way the story ends. It's very simple, ಭಾಳ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ವೇನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ರೀಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಫೀಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕವರ್ಡ್ 99% ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಲೆಸನ್. ಯಾವುದೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ನಾನು ಬಿಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್, ರೀಡ್ ದ ಲೆಸನ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಹೋಲ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. It is not the way to underline the whole textbook itself. I have seen many of you students underline the whole textbook. Paragraph important and takshna you underline all the words in the paragraph. Don't do that. You underline value points. For example, here world is more evil than good, 1500 miles aste, and mercy and murderers, pickpocket, 9:30 to 11. In this way you keep underlining value points. Don't underline the whole text. During exam you find it difficult, you have to read the whole text. Then value points underline ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ you will have very less time to cover all the lessons. So you have to read underlined words, you will get the connectivity of the lesson, story, poem, whatever it is. Then you can answer in your examination very carefully. You are not supposed to miss 1 mark questions. ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಶನನ್ನು ಬಿಡೋ ಹಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ನೀವು ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ 1 mark ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 50 marks ಆಫ್ these questions and answers and 50 marks grammar. You have to be very thorough with your textbook, because ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ನಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕನ್ನು ಒಂದೆರಡು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫನ್ನು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇ ಪಿಕ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಫ್ರಾಮ್ ದ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ to set the grammar questions. It becomes very easy for you if you read the text carefully. So my advice is, you have to read the text carefully, and let me have some questions, 1 mark questions and 4 mark questions for our practice. Now, like 1 mark question, how much money did the narrator have in his wallet? How much money did the narrator have in his wallet? It's given here. Where it is given, can you tell me? It is 14 rupees in his wallet. I had told you earlier that my points will cover, value points will cover 90% of your 1 mark answers. So the next question, this was asked in 2016 and 2020. How much money did the narrator have in his wallet? 2016 and 2020. Next question, the people in the restaurant looked like hungry dash. I had given the people who were sitting in the restaurant were looking like hungry wolves in my explanation. Hungry wolves tara. Hungry wolves. So you have to read the text carefully, then you will come to know. This is a fill in the blank. The people in the restaurant looked like hungry dash. Hungry wolves. And next question, when did the narrator eat the full meal? When did the narrator eat the full meal? When did the narrator eat? That is after 4 p.m. And what did the narrator eat in the full meal is another 1 mark question. This was asked in 2017. What did the narrator eat in the full meal? It is given here, meat curry, chapatis and a tea. So in this way you have many 1 mark questions. For example, one more, what was the narrator doing for his living? What was the narrator doing for his living? What profession narrator had? Narrator for his living, he taught English to migrant laborers. He taught how to write address in English to migrant laborers. Migrant laborers ಬರೀಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. He taught writing address in English. ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. So to whom he taught, that is migrant laborers. Migrant laborers ಬರೀಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರು ಅಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಶಬ್ದ ಬರೆಯೋದನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ಗೆ ಇದರ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಬರೀತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಟೈಮ್ ಹಾಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರೀರಿ. 1 ವರ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸೋದಿದ್ರೆ 1 ವರ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೇಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸೋದಾದರೆ ಪ್ರೇಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬಿ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್, ಟು ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. So the last question, what was the profession of the narrator? See, ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನರೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ 2016ನಲ್ಲಿ. ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ನರೇಟರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಇದು ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್ನವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಬಟ್ ಟ್ವಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ನರೇಟರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನರೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎರಡೂ ಆನ್ಸರು ಸೇಮ್. ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೇ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ವೈಸ್ ಇನಫ್ ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಈಗ 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಸೇವ್ ದ ನರೇಟರ್? ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಸೇವ್ ದ ನರೇಟರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಬರೀತೀರಾ? ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಯಾರು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ? ಅ ಪಿಕ್ ಪಾಕೆಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ಫೆಲೋ ಅ ಪಿಕ್ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಹೂ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಹೂ ವಾಸ್. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್, ಹೇಗೆ ನರೇಟರ್ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಂಜರ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಂದು ಇವನು ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ 100 words ಇನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 100 words you have to write. That becomes a 4-mark answer, a paragraph of 100 words. And next question, one more. For example, how the question is given in 2 ways, but the answer is the same. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿಲಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು, ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ, ಹೌ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೌ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ 4 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಇದು 2016ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು 17ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅದೇ, ಬಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ. ರೈಟ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ. ರೈಟ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನಿದೆ? ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್, ಹೌ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬಿಗ್ ಸಿಟಿ. ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಟಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಮೈ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಐ ಹೋಪ್ you have taken the best advantage of this lecture, and I thank each and everyone who were instrumental for such a program, and thank you one and all. Thank you, my dear students.